Hi, I'm Tom, and what you're looking at is a set of building blocks, the kind that little boys and girls like to play with. Now, you may be wondering what this everyday child's toy has to do with overcoming your hypothyroidism and how you can take back control of your life from this devastating condition. I'll get to that in just a moment. First, let me ask you an important question. What if your hypothyroidism had little to do with your actual thyroid? And what if you could completely relieve your suffering within just a few short weeks? Okay, that may sound a little far-fetched, and I thought so too, until I discovered this one-of-a-kind, completely natural and scientifically proven method I'm about to share with you today. This method not only helped me overcome my own hypothyroidism and take back control of my life, it's now being used to help hypothyroidism sufferers all over the world do the same. Watch this presentation until the end, and you'll also discover a powerful technique to reactivate the missing link to your thyroid health, which will dramatically improve your thyroid hormone levels and put you back in control so you no longer feel trapped in a condition that has taken over your life. Plus, this technique can be done right now in the comfort of your own home without resorting to dangerous thyroid medications and without relying on doctors who often don't even listen or understand what you're really going through. You'll also learn a little-known diet trick that boosts your thyroid function and metabolism. This surprisingly simple tip will help you look and feel amazing while you enjoy and indulge in the foods you love with the people you love. You'll have more than enough energy to do the things you love doing without confining yourself to one of those boring, tasteless, and restrictive diets that never really work and can leave you feeling even more lost, confused, and helpless. Plus, you'll also discover the #1 thyroid damaging food you absolutely must avoid at all costs. Little do you and other hypothyroidism sufferers know, you're eating this thyroid damaging and so-called health food every day, and it's sabotaging any chance you have at feeling like your normal, happy, and healthy self. Not to mention the research showing how this everyday food causes accelerated aging before sending you to an early grave. You'll learn how to avoid it and what to replace it with, so you can relax and live with peace of mind, knowing you're no longer a burden or worry for your loved ones, and that you won't have to miss out on the important things in life. Now, my private clients have paid a lot of money for me to teach them what I'm about to show you, and they probably aren't too happy that it's free online right now. So I have no idea how long I'll be able to keep this presentation online, or how long it will be free of charge to watch. So watch this now while you still can. You may have already spent countless hours and even sleepless nights researching this confusing and frustrating condition. And maybe you feel like you've tried just about everything, only to be left with little or even disappointing results. Yet, I can guarantee that you've never seen anything like what I'm about to show you today. And one trick in particular with the research behind it, I promise will shock you. Remember, I'm about to share with you how to put a permanent end to your hypothyroidism safely and naturally, along with some little-known scientifically proven tips to help you take back control of your health. However, I want to first share a really personal and somewhat embarrassing story with you about my own struggles with hypothyroidism. You'll see why my wife didn't want this story made public in just a moment, so keep watching. Deal? Now, I wasn't always a highly sought-after health practitioner and author on hypothyroidism, nutrition, and hormones. In fact, far from it. I definitely wasn't born with great genes either. In fact, I come from a family with a history of heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, and brain cancer. And from a young age, I developed high cholesterol and high blood pressure. Both of these are classic yet overlooked signs of hypothyroidism, which I didn't realize at the time. I was what you would call a heart attack just waiting to happen. As a lifelong student of health and nutrition, I could not figure out why my health was deteriorating regardless of how healthy I was trying to be. And after years of testing, diets, supplements, and treatments, my health continued to worsen. Just as I was getting to what were supposed to be the best years of my life, hypothyroidism was ruining it all. Can you relate? Well, thinking back, I can remember the day as if it were yesterday. It was a Wednesday, and I was leaving the office after struggling all afternoon with fatigue and brain fog, getting next to nothing done. I just wanted the day to be over with. The sky was getting dark and overcast like it was about to storm, which only made me feel that much more exhausted. I was about halfway to my car when my friend Nelson ran up. He wanted me to join him and the guys for a friendly game of soccer. I knew my wife wouldn't mind, and yet these days I didn't feel up to doing much of anything. I remember thinking to myself, I don't do anything I used to enjoy, which only made me feel even more depressed. If you've ever felt that way, realize you are not alone. Anyway, I gave him my typical "I'm pretty busy so maybe next time" excuse. Well, soon there never was a next time, because shortly after that they stopped inviting me to join them altogether. So I got in the car and started to drive. Sadly, I was dreading the idea of going home. I felt like I was more of a burden to my family than anything else, like I was always letting them down. Even the smallest bit of stress at home would leave me feeling overwhelmed and anxious. It was like I had lost control of myself. That wasn't how I wanted to live my life, and it absolutely killed me on the inside. Finally, I parked my car in the street, dragged myself to the door, and then it happened. As I opened the door, I was greeted by my super excited 2-year-old son. This little guy had more than enough energy to light up a city block. My wife later shared with me that he had been glued to the window, just waiting for me to get home so we could play together. Now, remember those building blocks I told you about? Too tired to move, I dropped everything in my hands and lay down on the floor next to those blocks to play with them. As I lay there on the floor trying to stack a few blocks, within a few minutes I literally passed out on the floor, leaving my son all alone, scared and confused. About an hour had passed before my wife was finally able to wake me for dinner. Not only was there disappointment in her eyes, the tears made it clear that she was afraid something terrible was going to happen. That night, she shared some of her biggest fears. What was going to happen to our family if you're not around? Who's going to be there to walk our daughter down the aisle at her wedding? How was she ever going to do this alone? This wasn't fair to my family, especially not our children. I felt this uncontrollable and agonizing sense of guilt. I felt worthless and that I was failing my family. And that hurt worse than anything. It was a wake-up call. If I continued down the path I was on, a path that you and so many others are following, I would live out my remaining days here watching life pass by from a prison cell window. Never a chance to enjoy everything life has to offer. It was in that moment that I made a vow. I will not give in and spend the rest of my life imprisoned by my hypothyroidism. That night, I started digging through medical and research journals, which led me to the work of some of the most brilliant thyroid researchers the world has ever known. The deeper I dug into the research, the more it became clear that today's pharmaceutical-driven treatment is not only ineffective, it's actually dangerous for you and most hypothyroidism sufferers. What's more, most of the cutting-edge thyroid research is being suppressed by the pharmaceutical industry as well. That night, I dedicated myself to putting an end to my hypothyroidism. And over the next 3 months, I began to systematically test and formulate the plan that would free me from this life-draining condition. And today, I'm going to share it with you, so keep watching. Remember, despite my success in eliminating my own hypothyroidism and in helping thousands of others do the same, I'm really no different than you. Because of the urgency of my situation and my sheer determination to never give up, I was relentless to follow the research no matter where it led me. And through my trial and error, I developed an effective step-by-step system, what I like to call a recipe for relief. This is a system that allows people just like us to live the life you've always wanted, free from the burdens of debilitating thyroid symptoms. Renew and strengthen your relationships with your loved ones and be the person you've always wanted to be. Enjoy being active again and get back to doing what you love in life with complete control and self-confidence. Move through life with ease, feeling young and never missing out on the important things in life. And experience the excitement of waking up every morning looking and feeling like your real self again. Now, to be fair, my success didn't happen overnight, and yet This is the same system that put an end to my suffering in just a few short weeks. And most importantly, my wife and I were finally able to have the relationship we both wanted for so long. And it's the same exact system I'll be sharing with you today, so you can finally experience results like these for yourself. I'll share all the specific details with you in just a moment. First, I feel I must warn you about the real problem you face today. This is the real hidden problem. The reason why most hypothyroidism sufferers fail to ever live a normal life despite any sort of testing or treatment, and why your hypothyroidism is not your fault. The real problem is the fact that you're being betrayed by the very people who are supposed to help you, and it's keeping you from living the life you've always wanted and deserve. When I first discovered this, it made me sick to my stomach. Pharmaceutical companies spend over $24 billion every year to convince, or dare I say bribe, our doctors to believe that their drugs are your best and only option to treat your condition. And when research findings prove that their thyroid medications are actually dangerous, they strangle that research, grab their shovels, drag it to the woods, and bury it where no one will find, without ever thinking twice about the millions of lives they're putting at risk. The cold hard truth is that they're far more concerned about profits than your health. Considering the thyroid medication Synthroid is the #1 prescribed medication today out of all medications, with over 23 million prescriptions filled every month. Yes, every month. You bet they're going to protect their market share no matter what the cost, even if it comes at your expense. And if they have to lie, cheat, and steal to do it, well, that's just business. Take Knoll Pharmaceuticals, for example, who illegally covered up a Synthroid study that would have cost them millions of dollars in losses, which led to lawsuits for illegal marketing, violating antitrust laws, racketeering, and even fraud. Does that sound like they have your best interest at heart? Pharmaceutical companies want you to become dependent on their drugs as if they want you to suffer. So you keep coming back month after month until the day you die, while they and their shareholders throw parties, sip expensive champagne, and celebrate record profits year after year. It's enough to make your blood boil. I know it did mine. And by the way, there's something else that pharmaceutical companies are hiding from you. It's the reason why their thyroid drugs will never work, and it's costing you your life. Imagine this for a minute. You've just woken up and today you have a bad feeling that something isn't right. As you make your way to the kitchen, you find your spouse leaning against the counter, out of breath and clenching their chest in pain. You begin to panic as you yell, "You're having a heart attack!" Without thinking twice, you help your spouse into the car and begin rushing to the hospital. As they lay there in pain, still struggling to breathe, overwhelming questions begin to flood your mind. Am I ever going to see them again? What's going to happen to our family? Then all of a sudden, you're forced to slam on the brakes and come to a screeching stop. There's a traffic jam and the main road to the hospital is blocked and you can't get through. You step on the gas and turn to the right as you yell back to your spouse, "Stay with me, honey, we'll have to take the back way." No more than a minute later, you're forced to slam on the brakes again. You still can't get to the hospital because the back road is blocked too. Tears start streaming down your face as you realize there's only one other way to get there. The car takes off again, and no more than a couple minutes pass before the car comes to its final screeching halt. The last and final road to the hospital is blocked too. There you are, stranded and hopeless with nowhere to turn, forced to watch as your spouse begins to slip away. Every road blocked, preventing you from getting to the one place that can save your spouse's life. As horrifying as this scenario sounds, the same frightening problem is happening inside your body every single day. The road inside your body that your thyroid hormone must travel down before it can get to your cells, the road we call your thyroid hormone pathway, is blocked. Your cells never get the thyroid hormone they so desperately need, which is why no amount of thyroid medication can help you. Without realizing this is going on, you become more hypothyroid and your life slips further away. Eventually, your cells are left to suffer and die. Now, what pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know is this. One of the biggest underlying causes of these roadblocks and your hypothyroidism is your diet. And while the manufacturers of Synthroid go out of their way to try to convince you that there's no natural remedy or treatment for hypothyroidism, the research is abundantly clear. For example, a study published in the Archives of Biochemistry and Biophysics revealed that a certain type of dietary fat blocks your thyroid from releasing thyroid hormone and makes it impossible for your thyroid hormone to ever reach your cells. Another study, published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, showed how these same dietary fats block your liver from converting your thyroid hormone into its usable form. As a result, your cells are unable to use whatever amount of thyroid hormone you do have available. Study after study has shown that these dietary fats are blocking your thyroid hormone pathway, even hijacking the cells meant to carry your hormones to their destination, and threatening your health to the extreme. All that and more caused by one single dietary fat you're eating every single day. I'll tell you exactly what this is and what to replace it with in just a second. The good news is that no matter what your age or severity of your condition, you can naturally and permanently put an end to your hypothyroidism with my 3RX Thyroid Formula, a recipe for unblocking and reactivating your thyroid hormone pathway that can restore your thyroid health and give you back your life in as little as 60 days or less. More on this in just a moment. Now that you know the real problem is your thyroid hormone pathway, I'm going to share with you some simple tips I have taught to thousands of hypothyroidism sufferers to help you unblock your thyroid hormone pathway so you can start enjoying life again too. And by far, the most important tip is my strategic thyroid balancing principle. I'll go into the specifics of the strategic thyroid balancing principle in just a second, so keep watching. First, you need to know about that one type of dietary fat you must avoid to help rid yourself of your hypothyroidism. And this may surprise you, because most people believe this to be the healthy type of fat they should be eating, and you've been eating it every single day for years, whether you realize it or not. For decades, doctors and nutritionists have been telling everyone to eat more and more of it, while ignoring the fact that it's one of the biggest underlying causes of hypothyroidism today. As you eat this type of fat, it accumulates inside your body, taking over and blocking every single part of your thyroid hormone pathway, from your thyroid gland all the way down to your cells, just like that blocked road to the hospital. And if that's not bad enough, research also shows that this type of fat causes accelerated aging, heart disease, and destroys your immune system. The culprit I'm referring to is a category of fats known as PUFAs, or polyunsaturated fats. Remove these from your diet and avoid them like the plague. While PUFAs are found in and added to most of the foods you eat, the easiest way to reduce the PUFAs in your diet is to simply replace any liquid cooking oil you might use with thyroid supportive fats like coconut oil. Just avoiding this one type of thyroid damaging fat will increase your energy all day, every day, plus help restore your damaged metabolism and protect you and your family from heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even cancer. Just picture it. You've made this small change to your diet and now you feel more alive. It's Friday night and you surprise your spouse with a little romantic night on the town, something you haven't done in far too long. The joy you feel can't be put into words, all from one simple little improvement to your diet. And it gets better. How would you like to look and feel amazing while you enjoy and indulge in the foods you love with the people you love? Most people believe that eating healthy means restricting the foods you love and crave, and eating a boring, tasteless diet which never really works in the long run. Because research continues to show these tasteless diets block your thyroid hormone pathway. Eating a nutrient-rich diet is important. However, if your metabolism is slow and damaged, as it is with hypothyroidism, do you think your body is able to use all those nutrients? Not by a long shot. In fact, most of those nutrients are going to waste. Here's the secret. Get adequate nutrients, which is easier than you might think. And focus on foods that heal and boost your metabolism so your cells can actually use those nutrients. You can easily do this by using more thyroid and metabolism boosting foods like coffee and even chocolate, for example. Now, if you've heard that coffee isn't good for your thyroid or adrenals, be aware that the research shows how coffee protects you from thyroid disease, cancer, liver problems, and even reduces your risk of premature death. This lie that coffee is bad for your thyroid health is nothing more than misinformation being spread by misinformed people, which is preventing your thyroid hormone pathway and metabolism from healing. And I don't want anything to hold you back from overcoming your hypothyroidism. Indulging in coffee and other thyroid-boosting foods properly balanced in your diet can be the key to you looking and feeling like your real self again. And I'll explain exactly what I mean by properly balanced in just a second. First, imagine this. You're enjoying a cup of coffee and a few laughs with a friend in the morning as you experience more energy than you've ever had in the past. Not to mention your friends and family are all delighted to see you're back to your happy and healthy self again. It's amazing how different you can feel by simply enjoying all these thyroid-boosting foods. And it's about to get even better still because now I'm going to share my most important tip. However, let me give you fair warning. Without this tip, you can forget about everything I just shared with you, and here's why. This is the tip that will allow you to reactivate that most important missing link of your thyroid hormone pathway, while dramatically boosting your thyroid hormone levels, and get this, give you back the freedom and control you desire, so you never feel trapped by hypothyroidism ever again. It's something I call my strategic thyroid balance principle. This principle has been used successfully by thousands of hypothyroidism sufferers to put an end to their hypothyroidism once and for all. Here's an example of how it works. When you become hypothyroid, your liver loses its ability to store and release glycogen, which is essential for regulating your blood sugar. As a result, your body compensates by overproducing dangerous stress hormones. These stress hormones literally eat away your healthy muscle tissue to keep you alive. At the same time, they create a major roadblock in your thyroid hormone pathway at your liver, making you even more hypothyroid and driving your stress hormones even higher, which causes your body to become trapped in an endless hypothyroid cycle. With all this going on, your thyroid doesn't stand a chance to get well. Here is how you can reverse this. Research shows that strategically balancing the right carbs, proteins, and fats in your diet is key to improving your thyroid health. Now, as a starting point, you will use approximately 50% of your calories from the right carbohydrates like certain fruits, 25% of your calories from the right proteins such as broth, and approximately 25% of your calories from the right fats like coconut oil. Now, ideally, these percentages are personalized to help speed up the healing process, yet, by therapeutically balancing the right foods this way, you can break this hypothyroid cycle while dramatically improving your active thyroid hormone levels. Now, remember the 3RX formula I mentioned earlier? This formula works in part by strategically balancing your diet on multiple levels, which includes knowing which thyroid-boosting foods to eat, how to personalize them for fastest results, as well as the best times to eat them, which is vital because without the right timing, it won't work. The result? All of your thyroid suppressive hormones rebalance. You unblock and reactivate every part of your thyroid hormone pathway, and you break free from all hypothyroid cycles for good. This is key because these thyroid hormone pathway roadblocks and hypothyroid cycles are what are keeping you hypothyroid in the first place. Just picture it for yourself. Here you are, eating thyroid-boosting foods perfectly balanced just for you, feeling healthy and free all day, every day, and loving every minute of life, enjoying every minute you spend with your family and friends, rediscovering and fulfilling your passions and dreams in life, And all of this happening simply because you now know the formula, the secret to rebalancing your hormones, unblocking and reactivating your thyroid hormone pathway, and restoring your metabolism and thyroid health to naturally overcome your hypothyroidism for good. Okay, that was a lot to cover, and you may be feeling a tad overwhelmed or confused at this point. Don't worry, that's perfectly natural. Simply keep in mind that you now have two choices on where you go from here. Choice 1, you can take all the tips I just gave you and try to go at it alone, and who knows, you may do just fine without any hand-holding or coaching other than these tips if you took good notes. Sure, you'll be all on your own, however, it is possible. Or you can take choice 2, the sensible choice that will ensure you put an end to your hypothyroidism once and for all. This is the quickest, easiest, and permanent solution to restore your thyroid health, allowing you to take back control of your life. You can now eliminate the struggle, frustration, and disappointment of trying to figure this all out by yourself, because I've already done all the work for you. I've laid out your exact step-by-step formula to safely and naturally restore your thyroid health, one that's been tested for years by myself and thousands of men and women like you, and proven to work virtually every single time.